Before we race, and I mean race into the new year, let's take a look back at the year that was. Caitlin is back to talk about the most expensive weather disasters from 2021, and it's extraordinary, Caitlin.
It really is, Mike. Almost the entire country was in some way impacted by natural disasters in the past year. From unprecedented heat to prolonged record cold, wildfires, hurricanes, and tornado outbreaks, just to name a few, they all left their mark in 2021. The year got off to a very cold start for parts of the country. A historic February cold snap left millions of Texans without electricity or heat for days after a power grid failure linked to the record cold. Temperatures bottomed out on the morning of February 16th at 20 degrees in Galveston, 13 degrees in Houston, and just 5 degrees in College Station, Texas. More than 170 people died. From extreme cold to severe heat, late June featured the biggest heat story of the year when Portland, Oregon hit 116 degrees and Seattle, Washington reached 108 degrees. Hundreds of deaths were blamed on the heat throughout the Pacific Northwest and up through British Columbia. Not only was this summer a hot one, it was a dry one. In fact, the past several summers have featured near record dry conditions. But this summer was one for the books. 95% of the western United States experienced a moderate to severe drought. It's likely the worst drought for the region in centuries. And with the dry conditions came the largest single wildfire in California's history, the Dixie Fire. Severe drought and poor forest management allowed the fire to explode. More than 960,000 acres burned in the devastating wildfire that began on July 13th and wasn't 100% contained until October 25th. From too little rain to too much rain, Category 4 Ida produced unprecedented rainfall and record wind. The historic storm brought wind speeds of 150 miles per hour when it made landfall in Louisiana on August 29th, the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. The storm caused tens of billions of dollars in damage and killed dozens of people across the central Gulf Coast. The storm continued to wreak havoc as it traveled northeast through the mid-Atlantic, producing the Annapolis tornado that touched down September 1st. The tornado tracked 11.25 miles from near Shadyside to just north of Annapolis. The tornado was on the ground for 23 minutes and it was rated an EF2 with 125-mile-per-hour winds. And while not unheard of, a tornado that strong in the mid-Atlantic is hardly normal. The damage from Ida didn't stop there. The tropical moisture led to record-setting rainfall rates in the Northeast. Newark registered 3.24 inches of rain in just 1 hour. Central Park picked up 3.15 inches of rain in an hour as well. The floodwaters left many New York residents trapped in flooded basement apartments. At least 49 people were killed throughout New York and New Jersey. To round out our top weather disasters of the year, beginning the night of December 10th, an unprecedented tornado outbreak began. What you're looking at here is a satellite image taken at 11:46 p.m. Central Standard Time, showing the line of storms stretching from Texas all the way up through Michigan. So far, the National Weather Service has confirmed 66 tornadoes. An outbreak of this magnitude would be incredible any time of year, but the fact that it was in December rather than the summer or spring when tornadoes are more likely is remarkable. The most devastating tornado that night tore through western Kentucky. The long-track tornado was on the ground for 128 miles with peak winds of 190 miles per hour. The tornado was rated an EF4, but it's not out of the question that it could be upgraded to a 5 as the damage continues to be surveyed. And another billion-dollar disaster is still unfolding as we ring in the new year, the unprecedented wildfires burning in Colorado. And it's worth noting that the only year with more billion-dollar disasters than this year was last year, when $22 billion disasters were recorded.